Hey, welcome back. My name is Sushant Satish, and I am your trainer for this AZ104 certification course. We just completed Module 8, which was all about Azure Virtual Machines, and we have learned several lessons as part of the Azure Virtual Machine. In this video, we're going to go through the review questions on what we have learned on the previous lessons. Let's look at the question number 1. You host a service with 2 virtual machines. You discover that occasional outages cause your service to fail. What 2 actions can you do to minimize the impact of the outages? You need to select 2 answers to complete the whole part of the solution. So, what are the 2 solutions you can pick from the below which can minimize the impact of the outages what you are having right now? Is it adding a third instance of the virtual machine? Definitely not. Adding a new virtual machine is going to add more resources to your whole solution. That is not going to resolve the outage problem. Is it to add a network gateway? Definitely not. Network gateway is either for a VPN solution or a VNet peering. Put the virtual machine in a scale set? Definitely not. Putting a virtual machine in a scale set will give you an auto scale capability. So the correct answer is add a load balancer and put the virtual machine in an availability set. So to minimize the impact, put the virtual machine in an availability set and add a load balancer. Let's look at question number 2. You are researching Microsoft Azure for your company. The company is considering deploying Windows-based VMs in Azure. However, before moving forward, the management team has asked you to research the cost associated with the Azure VM. You need to document the configuration options that are likely to save the company money on their Azure VMs. Which option should you document? And each answer present part of the solution, and we need to select 4 to complete the whole solution. So I'm going to read out each statement to pick the right option which can help us save the money on the Windows VM which this particular company is going to use. Alright, so first statement is use hard disk or HDD instead of solid state drive. Absolutely. So if you I'm not sure that is going to be a wise choice. It's absolutely depending on the application type what you're using. But if you use hard disk instead of SSD, you can reduce this cost. Use unmanaged premium storage instead of managed standard storage. That is not going to make any difference. Premium storage is basically same cost even if you use unmanaged or managed. Bring your own Windows custom images. That is not going to reduce any cost. If you bring your custom image, you're still paying for the license. Use different Azure regions. Absolutely correct. So not all Azure services are priced same on all Azure regions. Some regions have lower price tier. So please make sure to check that when you deploy a solution. Use the least powerful VMs that meet your requirement. Absolutely correct. So sometimes by choosing the right VM is the way forward, not by having the most or well-powered virtual machine for your workload. Always keep an eye on Azure Monitor or Azure Metrics to check if you are utilizing the VM at the optimal level. Place all VMs in the same resource group. No, placing all VM in the same resource group will give you a same life cycle. Bring your own Windows license for each VMs. Absolutely correct. So this is called Azure Hybrid Usage Benefit. So if you bring your own license, Microsoft will give you up to 49% discount on your virtual machine cost. So on this scenario, you will need to document which of these options presented are likely to save company money for the Azure VMs. So in this scenario, we all learned different ways of saving money on Azure VMs. Let's look at question number 3. You're planning to deploy several Linux VMs in Azure. The security team issues a policy that Linux VMs must use an authentication system other than passwords. You need to deploy an authentication method for the Linux VM to meet the requirement. Which authentication method should you use? You need to select one option from here. So it is definitely not Secure Vault Certificate, that is for different solution. Shared access signature is for your storage account, so that is not the right answer. Access keys are again for your storage account, so that's not the right answer. Multi-factor authentication is for securing your user accounts or identities, so that's not the right answer. So the correct answer is SSH key pair. Azure support two authentication methods for Linux VMs: passwords and SSH. Access keys and shared access signature are the access method for Azure storage, not for Azure VMs. Let's look at question number 4. Your company has Windows Server 2012 R2 VMs and Ubuntu Linux VMs in Microsoft Azure. The company has a new project to standardize the configuration of servers across the Azure environment. The company opts to use desired state configuration or DSC across all VMs. You need to ensure that DSC can be used across all the VMs. What two things should you do? Select two. So, is it going to resolve by replacing the Ubuntu VM with the Red Hat VMs? Definitely not. Is it by deploying DSC extension on Windows Server VM? Absolutely correct. And at the same time, because you have Windows Server and Ubuntu VMs, you need to deploy DSC extension for Linux VMs as well. So the DSC is available for Windows Server and Linux-based VMs. In this scenario, you just need to deploy the extension to the existing VM to start using DSC. Let's look at question number 5. Another IT administrator creates an Azure Virtual Machine scale set with 5 VMs. Later, you notice that VMs are all running at maximum capacity with CPU being fully consumed. However, additional VMs are not deployed in the scale set. You need to ensure that additional VMs are deployed when the CPU is 75% consumed. So what should you do? Select one. So is it by deploying the scale set automation script? Absolutely not. Is it by adding scale set automation script to the library? Again, it's a completely wrong solution. Can you increase the number of count? Yep, you can increase it, but that is not going to resolve the issue. All you have to do is enable the auto scale option. When you have a scale set, you can enable automatic scaling with the auto scale option. When you enable this option, you define the parameters of when to scale. To meet the requirement of this scenario, you need to enable the auto scale option so that additional VMs are created when the CPU is 75% consumed. Please note that the automation script is used to automate the deployment of the scale set and not related to automating the building of additional VMs in the scale set. Your company is deploying a critical business application to Microsoft Azure. The uptime of the application is of utmost importance. The application has the following components: 2 web server, 2 application servers, 2 database servers. You need to design the layout of the VMs to meet the following requirements. Each VM in a tier must run on different hardware. Another requirement is uptime of the application must be maximized. So you need to deploy the VMs to meet the requirements. So what should you do? And we need to select one. Is it to deploy one VM from each tier into one availability set and reminding VM to the separate availability set? Definitely not. That defeats the whole purpose what we are trying to achieve. Deploy the VMs from each tier into a dedicated availability set for the tier. Absolutely correct. An availability set should hold VMs in the same tier because that ensures that the VMs are not dependent on the same physical hardware. If you deploy VMs in a single tier across multiple availability sets, then you have a chance of a tier becoming unavailable due to a hardware issue. In this scenario, each tier should have a dedicated availability set, which is web availability set and app availability set, and a database availability set. Let's look at the last question of this module. Your organization has a security policy that prohibits exposing SSH ports to the outside world. You need to connect to the Azure Linux virtual machine to install software. What should you do? And select one. We learned about this when we talked about different ways of connecting to a virtual machine. If it is a Windows machine, you can connect via RDP and Bastion. For a Linux machine, you can connect via SSH and Bastion service as well. So the correct answer is Bastion service. Azure Bastion service is a new, fully platform managed PaaS service that you provision inside your virtual network. It provides secure and seamless RDP and SSH connectivity to your virtual machines directly in your Azure portal over SSL. When you connect via Azure Bastion, your virtual machines do not need a public IP address. And Bastion provides secure RDP and SSH connectivity to all VMs in virtual network in which it is provisioned. Using Azure Bastion protects your virtual machine from exposing RDP and SSH port to the outside world, while still providing secure access using RDP and SSH. With Azure Bastion, you connect to the virtual machine directly from the Azure portal. You don't need an additional client, agent, or a piece of hardware or software. So that concludes Module 8 and Module 8 review questions. In the next video, we're going to start a brand new module called Serverless Computing. And the first lesson we are going to learn from the serverless computing is all about Azure App Service Plans. So I will see you on the next one. Till then, take care.